Guys, welcome back to another episode of the Middle Eight podcast. I know it's been a while, but we're back in it.
Yes.
So yeah, man, like all the good stuff, like, follow, subscribe. I'm Ricardo Williams.
Hi guys, I'm Cherry Bonsell, aka Cherry B.
That's right.
And I'm Jermaine Riley. Hi.
So what you man be on? What you been on, man? What's been the last? How long? We ain't done one in a while, innit?
It's been an absolute. It's been a hot hour since we've done. Since we spoke, I can't remember the last things we were speaking about.
It was around the time DMX died, didn't it? So it was kind of
okay.
All of that was going on.
Yeah.
Cherry, yeah, you're right there.
Frozen.
It's only because I saw the airing move just a little bit. I was like, what's going on?
You're frozen.
So what you saying? What you been on, man? What's happened between now and then? You just been doing life
and comic books. So really,
I've seen a few. It's shaping up, you know.
It's shaping, bro.
Oh boy.
Shaping, trying to be Stan Lee next year. Just trying to create something for the picture them for the culture. For the sci-fi nerds, for the superhero fans. Something homegrown UK, although it's obviously set in America. Protagonist is obviously English. So yeah, guys, if you want to know more, just follow at Trust Extra Man on Instagram and Twitter. Twitter's not really saying that right now, but obviously when things pick up, you get me, like, you guys are just seeing previews right now, and then we're going to get the Patreon started. Hopefully maybe get Kickstarter vibe going and get some investment to maybe get a little animated short. We don't know. But we're just me and Glenn is just trying to figure out the story out right now, so we can give you guys, first 5 issues with no hiccups or nothing like that. Just writing up the character sheets. And yeah, Glenn's a genius, man, when it comes to this. Like I'll come to him with an idea of like this is what the character is, what the powers are, and he'll be like, why don't you make this happen with this other character? And he'll just piece it together. And even if I'm precious about an idea, he'll pitch it to me in a way where I instantly get it, and I'm like, okay, I guess that's I guess that's how it's gonna have to go, because it's not like what you're saying is shit. So I guess I just run it like that. And I'm not even that pressed. I'm not even like, I'm sure Cherry can attest to this. I work great in a team environment. Like, I'm very much go with the flow. I don't put blocks on people's. You get me? I thrive working, alongside like-minded people. So yeah, I love it. I love the fact that it's not like, I like the fact that it's not all on me, and Glenn has some kind of creative responsibility, and he loves it, like he lives and breathes it. So Glenn Murphy from Twist and Pulse.
Oh, okay, nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
So yeah, we're going in Extra Man 2022.
Nice. Wow, you said 2022, and I just realized, I was like, it's
in 6 months.
Yeah, I was like, that's a while away. Nice. Wow, man. Ches, how you been, man? What you been up to? I just saw the lip. Go like this.
My top razor lip.
Yeah. That's it.
I've been all right, man. I've just been doing like working with young people, developing and helping like younger talent find their way as well. And also just like figuring out what my next move is, planning my next steps, been recording, writing, and just figuring out like how I want the next project to look, trying to take my time with it, do something different to what I've done before. Yeah, and just trying to find my way, really.
I hear that, man. I hear
As
that.
we all are.
Word.
What about you, Ricardo?
Wow.
Killing it with the working out thing.
Do you know what? Yeah, I'm enjoying working out. Like after the first couple of weeks, I hated it. Like absolutely hated it. But now I'm at the stage where, like, even though it's still painful, like it's still not easy. I'm enjoying it. Like I'm finishing the workout and I feel good. Like, and the recovery is quicker, so I'm not in pain as much as I was. And you know what's funny? It's really like, so going on this journey for me was just more about losing weight and getting in shape. It was like really tackling some of the stuff that I've carried for years, like emotional stuff and self-esteem stuff, and doing it. And I'm doing it with there's a group of us doing it. So I'm doing it with Michelle, my wife, my sister-in-law, so Michelle's sister, my brother-in-law, Michelle's sister's husband, and my father-in-law, all kind of doing it together different days. So Michelle goes with her sister and that, and then I go with my father-in-law, my brother-in-law, and obviously we come together and share our stories. And because I'm doing it in a safe space, yeah, I can start to explore some of the things that have hindered me in life. Do you know what I mean? And I'm starting to unpack some of those things, and exercises are unlocking that, because I'm going to places that I haven't had to deal with before to get up early and go to the gym and be consistent. And then what does consistency mean to me, and why haven't I been consistent? And I have to answer those questions to myself. So it's been really good, man. It's been tough. Like, I'm not gonna lie, it's not an easy journey, but like the things that I'm unpacking about myself, it's great. Like I'm intentionally becoming the person that I want to be, rather than just by accidentally falling into whatever role that I play in life. But yeah, I've been good, enjoying fatherhood. Like, Aria's growing, she's smiling, she's laughing, which is great. Tia's getting older. I'm starting to have conversations with her that I just wasn't expecting to have. Do you know what I mean? It's like, oh my God, now I have to start talking about certain things. And that's quite challenging as a man, do you know what I mean? And as a child of a dad of a daughter. But it's all good. It's all good. And you know what's funny? I'm really enjoying my 9 to 5. And I think a lot of creatives are afraid to say that, like, because they feel like it's like nail in the coffin, or you shouldn't say that. You shouldn't enjoy it.
Yeah.
But I really enjoy my day job. Like, I get to be creative in a way that just allows me to expand my creativity. Do you know what I mean? And
that's why as well, isn't it? Because
that's
it's
it.
far removed from what you.
Exactly.
You're blessed. You're very blessed.
Yeah, man, I'm enjoying life. I mean, I'm enjoying life at the moment. I know life has ups and downs, so I'm riding the up wave right now. You know what I mean? But it's all good. It's all good. Anyway, so there's been some stuff that's happened over the last couple of weeks, but I think one of the things that we definitely want to dig into is the documentary by, I can't remember her surname. It's Leigh Anne. Is it Pinnock? Have I got that wrong?
Yeah, some lady.
Yeah, from Little Mix. So basically, I think it's called Pop, Race, and
Power.
Race, Pop, and Power. Yeah. So yeah, it's been a documentary that has started in sensationalism, as in, so when she was casted for it, it came out, and obviously some issues around her being mixed race, and maybe dealing with some of the issues that maybe, well, not maybe, are definitely affected by darker skinned people of color, and so there was some issue around her doing it. But she's done it, and she's basically given her take on racism and how she moves through this world of pop, what some of the discriminations are and microaggressions are, and what it means for her. And it was a very insightful documentary. Yeah, there was some bits that I definitely got some talking points on. But what did you guys think of? You've seen it, innit?
Yeah.
Yeah. So what did you think of it, Jay? Like top to bottom?
Top to bottom, it was good to see that someone in her position cares, obviously.
Right.
Because I think there was a part, I think it was her mum said to her that or maybe she said it, I can't remember. No, I think it was the woman who's in Parliament or whatever. I forget her name, sorry.
Dawn Butler.
Yeah, right. I think one of them said that some people take their privilege and just run. And yeah, I'm glad she's not doing that. Just being, a fair-skinned Black woman.
Right.
And I enjoyed, it was a nice thing that I don't see often. It was a nice scene that both parents were mixed raced. So, and creating essentially by math that creates the same thing, the same mixed race blend.
Right.
Because it's half and half again. So it's like, that was interesting to see. That was cute. Because they're all three of them as parents and the child is going through the exact same thing. It's not even like, usually you see like the white mom or the Black dad or whatever, and the Black dad says his part, and the white, obviously, woman would empathize and be like, raising a Black daughter, right? So you get me? But now you're seeing that all three of them, like, they're going through the exact same thing. And I like the fact that the dad eventually came around to the fact that you can't just say, oh, I'll just get on with it, because that's ultimately, that's a very micro example of what Black people do. We just get on with it. And that is the mentality. That's why we survive slavery. That's why we can joke about it on Twitter. That's why we can just get through life day to day with all these microaggressions, because we just think we have to be tough enough and just get on with it. And just the way it's going to be. So, toughen up. When her dad said that, I was like, oh my gosh. And then to know that, she's in this emotional turmoil, even the part where, obviously I don't want to ruin it for everyone who wants to go see it in Insight, but even the part where like the competition winners, who do you want to be from the group or whatever, and none of the three white girls said her, obviously. And I was just like, I can only imagine how much times that's happened, like
over and over.
It's just, it's just, one thing that upset me about it is not so much the racist white people in the comments or whatever she had to say, not so much the, people saying about, it was basically the Black people saying that it should be a Black, darker skinned woman,
right,
just doing the things that she's doing. I'm like, first of all, she can't help that, she is the mix that she is, and that, she's not darker skinned. But do you guys want this shit to change or not? Like, I don't understand. That's the part that really pissed me off. I'm like, why are Black people acting like we don't need all the help we can get from I don't care if it's from I don't care if it's Chinese person trying to change shit. Like, why would you say, oh, well, it would be nice if someone wasn't benefiting from the... What do you want? What do you want? What do you want? What do you want?
You know what?
You want us to constantly be on a Viola Davis vibe and constantly just saying, yo, we need to be Meryl Streep and shit ain't changing or whatever. Like, she's using her platform. That's one thing that really upset me. What was you going to say, Cherry?
I just want to say, I hear what you're saying,
yeah,
but I understand what they mean, because really and truly, what people are saying who are contesting or like, you know, challenging who was chosen to do the documentary is that Leigh Anne, not taking away anything from Leigh Anne's experience, but I mean, and also it was good that she brought in Alexandra Burke and she brought in Keisha from Sugar Babes, and Leo and
Ray,
and yeah, but I feel like if it was a Black woman, any of those women that I mentioned, if they were heading it, then they would be able to give the full example of the experience of being a Black woman.
Yeah.
However, it's amazing that she did use her privilege, as it were, to highlight those things and also give perspective from those who were darker than her and ask the question, if I was darker, do you think I'd be in Little Mix?
Yeah.
The unfortunate thing is that the reason why a darker skinned woman who is in popular music in the UK is not called to do those things, because she isn't as popular as someone like Leigh Anne, because she is dark skinned.
Yeah.
It's just peak all around.
Yeah, it answers itself. It's literally, yeah. And when she did ask that, it's like, obviously, I can't remember who said it, but it was like, I don't know. And it's just like, the answer is no. The answer is no. You wouldn't.
That bit annoyed me, I'm not going to lie.
Yeah.
Ray
just say, like,
when she
if
said,
I was
I could hide my Blackness. And, you know, I felt like the smile was so big and broad, yeah. I feel like the smile was so big and broad. I was like, rah, you really, really benefited from being able to hide the Blackness and front.
And
you're not Black.
And this is another, that's why this documentary had layers. Like when you had them all in the room, and then and also when she was speaking to a band member about and I didn't know, I don't even know
Jade. I didn't know she was
like Arab, like descent and that, and then what they say, like white passing or
white passing is called,
like all of that. It was that dynamic to see it was quite eye-opening. Like you said, Cherry, with the Ray situation, it was like, wow, like I don't know how to take this, because you clearly, it's like what Dawn said, is like you take your privilege and you run. Like, you know, actually I pass as white, so I'm going to live in this world.
She's an example of that.
And I'm not, and for me, I guess everyone's on their journey, and whether or not she comes to some sort of, do you know what I mean, realization of her privilege and what that means holistically for the community, that's on her. But it was very awkward to watch, like, especially when you had people like Keisha in there, and her story is so tragic. Like, how can you be the last founding member of a band and be lashed out of a band? And like she said, she was giving foot massages.
The day before that, I got exiled
because
but I'm the bully.
And you know, like, I've never spoken about this before, but see, when that happened, it was so peak, because of who, and I can speak for Jermaine as well, who we were connected to at the time that happened. And being in the middle of that situation, like, what the backside is going on. And anybody that knows me and my journey knows what the backside I'm talking about. And I'm not even going to mention no names or nothing, but fact of the matter, how that shit went down was so foul. Yeah. It was so foul, Ricardo. Like,
there was no above board anything.
Oh my gosh. Like, to the point where, you see, remember Destiny's Child, when my girl said she saw Say My Name video and she was like, oh, I remember laying vocals on that tune.
Right.
It was like that. So I stand with Keisha all the time, because I know that moment was flipping like unforgettable. Unforgettable. And they done a dirty.
Yeah, man. I remember it. I remember it from like just like an outsider's point of view. It just didn't make sense to me. I'm like, how can this still be the Sugar Babes? Like, there's no Sugar Babes left. Like,
no sugar in the tank.
It don't make sense. It don't make any sense.
Literally washed out. And what's funny, there was a few hilarious parts to me as well. One part was when she was talking to Jade, and Jade was saying, oh, when she was at school, they was dashing bleach powder on her and stuff. And I was like, what's wrong with white people, man?
Just let the girl be.
What's really going on? And you know what?
She looks like y'all.
What upsets, right? So what upset, what really, I can't even remember if I've said this so many times, I can't remember where I've said it, what platforms I said it on, or whatever. But I just wish I could go back to I wish I could have a time machine and go back to the very moment that the evil seed was planted in white people. Like, what happened? Like, what was the first instance where it's like, cool, like, what was the trigger? I want to know the trigger, because these people that obviously still like racist Caucasian people who think, you know, or racist against dark skinned Muslims, black people, whatever, they don't know why they hate people. You know, like they don't even know where that comes from, because if you live your life and you go back your day and everything's fine, you get to go home, you got mum, dad, dog, dinners, hot dinners on the table, everything, you go on holiday, blah, blah. But you still manage to make time to hate on someone because of their race. What is that? Like, there's nothing wrong in your life. You haven't been affected. Your mum didn't get licked down by someone of the, like, nothing's wrong with your life. And you got your Christmases with your big old family or whatever, but you still managed to be racist, like, to that degree, to the point where you're bullying people and dashing bleach powder and abusing them and throwing them in the toilet and all this, like, doing all this madness. But like, what, even when I was watching them, yeah, guys, watch them on Amazon Prime. When they're sitting outside the yard with the radios on, trying to just trying to run them out of their minds and the neighborhood, yeah? When they're all sat there, every episode I'm asking, but why? Why though? Why do you, what are they, they're not even bothering you.
It's that entitlement of them coming out of their station, coming out of their box where you believe that they're supposed to be. You know, like, it's that whole superiority thing. Like, when you're conditioned and you're raised in superiority, feel like you are above and beyond, right, and somebody comes out of pocket, somebody comes and tries to rise up even to be close to your level, or like that undeniably can surpass you in whatever realm or industry or talent it is, there's a problem there. But it's so deep rooted because they're born and grow in it. They don't know any other way of thinking. So it's like, how dare you? Because I was taught that you're beneath me. Like, how very dare you even try?
Do you know what it is? It's like, even when you grow up in the church, it gets to a point where you start to ask logical questions.
Right. Yeah.
And you start to live your own life, and you start to be like, okay, cool. If this happened, I'm going to read the whole thing from cover to cover. And if this happened, that happened, blah, blah, blah. Why did this happen? And you start to just come of your own mind and body, right? Why is it that when it comes to this racism thing, like, obviously I'm not saying all white people just innately racist from birth and then they grow out of it. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is, there's certain people who do get raised by racist parents, and they hear stuff in the house, right? And the only thing I can liken it to is that Jamaican African thing, where culturally we're pitted against each other and we don't know why. And it's only when I got to like Brit school when I was like 16 years old that kind of instantly washed away. Like, my best friend was Nigerian. And when you're in school, you say all types of slurs and blah, 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 and African this, that, whatever. And you think it's funny because you don't know better. And there's no one to pull you up about it. Batty scratcher and all these types of madnesses that you used to say, yeah?
I'm just dumb.
But when you get to a certain age and you just realize that we're actually the same, it's very Wakanda forever when you realize that, when you know, that's what I'm saying. Like, don't you, as a racist white, don't they come to a point where they there's no doing their research. And it's like she said, I'm glad she was looking through the comments and she was like, I'm not doing this for this person because I can't change their mind. Their mind is made up, blah, blah, blah. That's what a lot of them are mentally dealing with, and they don't even know the source. They don't know the source of where the hatred comes from. And they're not even singular enough to know that, okay, I don't like this person because of my own personal experience, because I've had this, that, whatever. It comes from a place of no experience whatsoever. And that, to me, is what I need non-racist whites to address. And because that's your people, isn't it? Like, tell me where did that seed come from? Why is it that you can't trace it back? Or just like, that's questions that need to be, I've always, like, it haunts me. It haunts me, that question. When did it start?
Jermaine, some can trace it back, but they actually enjoy benefiting from the privilege.
This is it.
Do you know what I mean? And that's really dangerous. And that's why we have people that are still wrong and strong and standing on those older principles once upon a time, because they feel like it needs to go back to that way, because that way that they are in the position of power and superior.
And then that harps onto two things: fear and insecurity. And that's what that behavior is always steeped in: insecurity and fear. So whatever you fear about Black people or our community, whether or not you realize actually how resilient we are, and no matter what happens, we're going to succeed, and what that might actually look for you. And sometimes I have this conversation and I think, and I don't think this is like a blanket white thing, but I do think there are some white people that think, actually, if things were equal, we might do exactly what they did to us. And that's very scary thought to have. Do you know what I mean?
Who said that?
That's the conversation I have in my house. Like, I try to work it out. Like, what is it? Like, we're at a point now where, what's the point now? Like,
do you know why I don't feel like we would be in that position or be that way inclined?
We will never be. We will never be.
Is because we survived slavery. We were slaves, guys.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So we were slaves, and we're moving and shaking and rubbing shoulders with you, doing business, doing all these types of things, knowing what happened to us, and we're cool. We're just, Black people are benevolent people. That is not in our DNA. That hatred and that tearing down and the blah, 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 blah. Like, that is something, if you see that amongst us, it's because of the slavery thing. The whole thing about the colorism thing, that's basically house slave and field slave. Do you get me? Like, that's what that is. And that is just something that wasn't in us until we were slaves.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, that is not
our thing.
Us. That we would not, if we were in any position of, there's environments where we are. Do you get me? And all we ask is that if you are white, you just have to be really good. That's all that's it. That's it. Do you get me? Like, just be absolutely amazing, because that's where our bar is. Because that's what you lot taught us we have to be. We have to be absolutely excellent. I love when Frank Gatson went to you're the Black girl, you have to work harder in this whole thing.
Yeah, and that's just facts. It's
and
facts.
That, I thought, when she went to him and she was like, why did you say that to me? Why did you feel you need to say that to me? I thought he was going to say, because it's facts. Like, I just wanted to say it straight, but he articulated it so well.
Yeah.
And yeah, I was just like, and you know, fair play to her parents of trying to raise her in a world where it doesn't matter. But
Ricardo's face.
She wasn't equipped. She wasn't equipped with
it right there, Jermaine.
Yeah.
She was not equipped. And for me, watching that, yeah, and it's I guess I'm going to give a very subjective point on this, because obviously I have no idea what it is like to grow up as a biracial, mixed race individual in this world. I have no idea what that's like and what challenges that brings, right? I can only talk from my perspective. And I kind of just feel like, and if it's like, this podcast is great, because if you disagree, then light out the comments, and it's a growing experience. But I'm only going to tell you from where I see it.
Share and subscribe, by the way.
Yeah, that's right. So I just felt like her parents failed her. And I know it sounds bad, but I just feel like both of your parents, so her parents, both of their parents were Black men with white women. You know the deal. There's no two ways about this. Mm-hmm. You saw it coming up. You know the deal. You know the snobs that your dad got and the jobs that he couldn't get because he was Black, and how hard he had to work, or how hard she had to work to maneuver through this world. To then get to your child and pretend like the world is the American dream. No, like there should have been a level of reality in this. Actually, Leigh Anne, you're mixed race. And that might, for some people, that might just be Black. And that means in this world, these are the things you're going to face. Like, it's great to model coddle your children and make them feel like everything is possible when it is, but hit them with the dose of reality. And I felt she walked into reality unequipped, and then she walked into the music industry. And I just felt like her parents, for me, there was a big fail in there. Like, it was,
but that,
they were oblivious,
to me,
they were oblivious to the fact that that their example, or the way that they brought her up, has caused some of the issues that she's now trying to address as a big woman.
And that, to me, is telling of the vision that they potentially wanted for themselves.
Right.
Maybe if we don't inform her of the racism, if we shield her eyes from it,
then she moves through the world.
Then she won't have the life that, you get me? So it's kind of like
I get that.
Yeah, it's probably that, because we've lived through the blatant racism. They lived through the blatant racism of obviously it was worse back in the day. And maybe they just thought, if we really normalize our existence, then she'll fit right in. However, white racism doesn't work like that.
It doesn't.
Like, and yeah, I think as her mum said it, like, regardless of, do you know what? Her mum said, even though I'm biracial, I consider myself black, yeah? And the dad was like, I consider myself Brian, what's his face, right?
And that was the red flag for me. That is
the root cause of this thing.
That was the red flag for me.
That mentality, no, bro. No.
Right. That was the red flag.
Embrace your heritage, culture, all the food that you're cooking in your yard. Yeah.
Be that.
You can't just pick and choose the blood, this, that, whatever. Like, if you embraced it and informed and moved and informed and gave her that same energy, she would be able to move in that environment differently. Yeah. But because you're trying to deny any type of I'm not blah, 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 that's what you're teaching her. And then now she's coming to this thing.
This is what I'm
like,
saying.
Oh my gosh, what's all this reality?
This is it. And
sorry, I tried to live my non-descript existence and tried to make that fold over to yours. No, you should have said, I'm Nigel Pinnock, and listen, I'm black, yeah? Because the moment there's a drop of blackness anywhere, no matter how, if I could be 3/4 of the thing, I'm black. Once they see any type, Jade got bleach powder dash on her. You get me? Like, any type of colorant, yeah? We might as well just be completely the thing. So that's just how it works. So just embrace that, bro.
This is it.
And you know what's funny is that as black people, I'm speaking for myself. And that just goes for me. The moment you do have that drop of sauce in it, you're black, bro. That's how I just embrace, like, you're black, bro. Because they'll show you that you're not white.
Right.
Do you get me? They'll show you.
Straight away. And there was two things that really irked me. That his response, like you said, was a red flag to me. And the boyfriend, Andre, like, and you know me, I don't like to come on the pod and like diss people or whatever, but you see me, yeah. One thing that I just don't stand for, if you diss black women, there's no coming back. There's no forgiveness in my heart for you. Because
yes, Ricardo.
I'm just like, nah, you're now and forever, you're cancelled. And that goes for anyone. It goes for people that look like me. There's people in the industry now that no matter what happens in life, like, I just wouldn't fuck with them just because of some of the comments that they've said before. And I don't care about growth, and I don't care about that's where you were. If you came out of a black woman, respect just needs to be given, full stop. Like, I don't care about what self-hate or whatever. Work that shit out in your bedroom. Don't come on Twitter. Don't come to me and diss black people. I'm not having it, and I don't care. So, man, like Andre, like the tweets are wild, and in my head I'm thinking, you came from a black woman, like you came from a black woman, like black, and you know what's?
Did he come from black woman? Is he white?
Either way, I don't care. You came from blackness. The thing that lashes me is you're quick to embrace black culture. Right? So you see, and this is why I tweeted the other day, posting a black square was cool, because I seen certain man, you see the way he was moving when he went to the marches, it was like, you was here for flexing, fam. You didn't care about what people were really here for. You was all bandanaed up. You came in your Lambo, like you couldn't just come in your standard car. Yeah, you all blacked out. Do you know what I mean? It was like, you came here to flex. these times people are dying, like in
It was
real
cool to be
life.
black that day. It was cool to be
It
black.
was
Yeah,
cool
yeah,
to be
yeah,
black. And I'm not down for that. I'm not a trend. I can't take this off
ting off, yeah.
and be another trend. This is who I am. And I have to move through this world like this. So don't trend me, fam. Like if you're in it, be in it. And if you diss black woman, there's no coming back. And I will say names like them man there from the Tequila podcast. I know which one he is, that had comments about black people, cancelled for me. Like,
What podcast?
Free Shots of Tequila. I can't even remember which one it is.
Oh, okay.
But for me, I don't care like what you want to talk about personal growth and that. Like if you diss black women, for me, it's all. And for me, when I was glad that she pulled him up on it and had the conversation about, so like where did that come from? But for me, his answers just felt like you ain't learned nothing, bro. Like if you know what it is, it's because it's not cool anymore to say it.
Yeah.
It's cool to diss black women.
It will still be
on that vibe. So you haven't learned anything. So your disposition is, if it's bants, I'm gonna run it. If it's not, then I'm gonna keep my mouth quiet, which means you're an enemy. You're up for me now, because all you're ever gonna do is be like, you're just gonna be an enemy to my community. And I cannot stand for that. I won't. I'm raising black women. Raising a beautiful dark-skinned girl. And my other child's a little bit light-skinned, but true say she's still black and that. I'm raising women in this world that they're gonna have to maneuver guys like that. I'm not having it, and I'm gonna let them know that we don't stand for it. We don't pander to that behavior. You're beautiful and you're black, and that's what you are. Anyone that has anything else to say is chatting the uttermost nonsense, and they can't come round. Yes, sir.
It's heartbreaking, you know. It's all that stuff. You know, it's seeing that and seeing resurface tweets like that from whoever. It always, like, my heart just, Jesus, peace.
Man.
Seeing
confident,
so much,
man. It's the confidence.
And seeing so much of that growing up personally as a black woman, and in a general consensus being like, you know, dead black ting or any or whatever, or
these times you're black,
that
your
stuff.
Black.
It's all it's terrible. You know, it's even certain like artists, one in particular. I'm not gonna say his name, but one in particular, like, you know, like you have a studio session and you go and you have food or whatever afterwards and that. And he was like really gloating to me about dating a non-black woman.
Wow.
Are you blind? Like, bruv, do you see me?
This is what I'm saying. This is what I'm saying.
I don't understand. Like, gloat to me about dating a great woman for you that is so, you know, loving on you and making me feel like a king. Gloat on that, but don't gloat to me about dating a non-black woman, and you're gloating to me like you've got the prize, not because she's dope as a person, but because she's not black. And you're black African, you're black African, but like you're gloating on me because she's not black, and I'm like, oh, that's nice.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense to me. Like
that's systematic.
There's something wrong, because like, especially in those scenarios, like when you're like, and I'm not grading black, but when you're black, like you're black like me, your mum's black, your dad's black, your granny's black, your aunties are black, your brothers are black, your sisters are black. So what does that mean then? That view that you hold of black women, so does that mean you feel that way about your mum and your nan?
Answer the question. Answer the question.
It has to be.
Yeah.
It has to be, because the said ones that you're dissing look exactly like your mum, fam. So what are we dealing with here? What level of self-hate are we dealing with here? And that's what I can't stand. It's when we get into that realm. Like, you can't make sense to me. You're dissing. At this moment, you're dissing yourself. What you're saying is about yourself, because that's everything that you're dissing is you. What sense does it make? And your first generation, your mum's from Nigeria, your mum's from Jamaica. You're not removed in this thing. You haven't been, like, your family hasn't been in the UK 30, 50, 60, 70 years,
Right.
where there's some now semblance of conditioning that the next generation down is from whatever homeland. That can't make sense. What has happened to you? And this is why it irritates me. It just it gets me. I can't stand it. I haven't been grown up that way. Do you know what I mean? My mum is dark skinned and beautiful. My sisters are dark skinned and beautiful, and that's all I've ever known. Do you know what I mean? Like black women. And I'm not to say that, oh, I'm biased. White women are beautiful as well. But you know my thing? Dark skin, fam. Even though my thing's a little bit light skin, slight deviation.
I'm calling Michelle right now. I'm calling her right.
Slight deviation.
I'm calling her right now.
Nah, so I just don't get it. It's foreign to me. It's foreign. I love my own. I love my people. I love people that look like me, as well as I love people that don't. But you see, my people, don't diss us, because I'm just not gonna stand for it. And that Andre Bray, he just his comments was just so, and it's not even it was just one. It was tweet after tweet after tweet.
Oh, no.
And then your explanation of it, and then talking about, oh, well, that's how it is in Jamaica and whatever. I'm like, come on, like,
no, definitely not that.
But you know what it was for me? It was like he couldn't really articulate or explain it.
Of course
he was like a self-hate thing or whatever, like that. Yeah, like that. Yeah, like the self-hate.
This is what I'm saying. Like, and it buns me when someone who is so articulate like Leigh Anne and has a grip on herself will be with someone like that. And I'm not dissing people's relationship. I just feel like it just felt like chalk.
But she said it. She said herself, like, that was. She was like, "Who is this?" Do you get me? Like, to her, obviously they didn't meet 8 years ago. So she's thinking, bruv, you was on a madness. What are you talking about, bruv?
Yeah, it's a cancer, man. It's a see me? Them people that are called cancer, and I've said it many times on Twitter. Whenever I see things like that, cancer has to be treated one way. You just cut it out and remove it. Then man can't come back into the community. See you later. You know why I say that? Because there's other communities that deal with people that way. Yeah, like there's like African community, the Arab community, the Jewish community. If you move certain ways,
that's it. You're
finished. You're exiled. Like, you're done out here. See you later. Go be with them, man. And that's how I feel like we should start moving. Because then certain man wouldn't behave that way. Like, but then you can't continue to move that in our community if you've got that kind of thought and, you know what I mean, view on us. Come out of the thing, fam.
But you know, but then it speaks to our empathy again, innit? That's how we stay. That's how we're like, okay, that was then, this is now. Are you ready to move forward and behave yourself?
Yeah, it's true. It's true.
We are benevolent people, man. True. It's just how we're wired.
It's true.
We can't be all the things that we've survived, all the documentaries we've seen, all the legislation's still not, honored. We still just keep it moving, still laugh and joke and lay down. Do you get me? Like, I'm with a Caucasian person. You get me?
Talk on it, Jermaine.
I'm with a Caucasian person, and I feel like I know it wouldn't work out unless they had if the passion to understand wasn't there.
Right.
Do you get me? Like, he'll go story after story about sharing the information and educating his fellow people. We'll have whole evenings where he's not speaking because he's having arguments with people on Facebook. I'm just like, and even because I'm tired as a Black person of dealing with it, it's part of me wants to be like, it's like Leigh Anne said, like, that person's not going to change their mind, so just allow it. But at the same time, I appreciate that it's just like Glenn's willing to have, Glenn's a white person, but he's grown up around Black culture and has got Black friends and Black families. So it's like, when there are white people willing to discuss it with other white people, that's what I want. I want you guys to have awkward conversations and not just brush it under the carpet and go along with your, pretty white lives. You need to say, that's not right. That's not gonna run. You can't say that. Can't you see that this is the way because of what we did then? And you get me? Like, I appreciate all of that. And I feel like, again, like, I don't feel like it would ever work if I'm lying next to someone who George Floyd happens and they don't understand why I'm in my bed,
right,
bawling. Do you get me? Like,
mm-hmm.
And just giving me that time and just never ever trying to, I don't know, oppose my feelings or invalidate how I feel or like fully getting it. Like, that's just, it's important.
You see that, and I say this, I've said this so much time at home, that there is humanity. That's like the core of it, and saying, you know what, there's all this other stuff around it, black, white, Chinese, Arab, there's that, and that's fine. That's an identification that matters. But the core of it is humanity, and when that kicks in, it's a beautiful thing to see, because it means actually you're a human being and you get it. You get what this situation's about because of your humanity. And sadly, when you look out into the world, what it looks like is that there's not much humanity. That people, there's not much. At the core, we are the same. There's not much realization of that, which is sad. It's a sad thing. But you know what, Jermaine? I'm actually glad that you're in a relationship with a Caucasian, because it's an example of humanity. It's an example of that the world isn't as fucked up as we think it is, because it can happen, and we can coexist, and we can maneuver all of this bullshit and still be in love and not have to all of the other things outside. And it just goes to prove that some of the bullshit that we face in this world is just around learned behavior, reinforced behavior.
Yeah, that's what it is. That's what it is.
Yeah.
It's breaking that down from the root.
Yeah.
Trying to get back to like, okay, where did this start? He clearly wasn't raised by parents who are saying madness in the house about black people. Do you get me?
Right.
And it's just that open-mindedness and just the willing to understand and empathize and just really face the truth of what it is and what black people have been through, and instantly get it. It's May? What's the date? Why is it raining like this?
You know what? You see me look around my house?
Yeah, I was like, she's hearing some rain because I'm hearing the same thing.
And we can't even go on holiday. Everything is red zone.
I'm waiting for it to start busting through.
Man. Listen, it's mad. It's mad. It's the rain. It's God cleansing the earth. Listen.